Welcome to Spiritual Sanctuary, Wisdom for the Divine Feminine. I'm your host, Bertena, and I'm so grateful that you're here. This is a space created for slowing down, for remembering who you are beneath the noise, and for reconnecting with the sacred wisdom that already lives within you. Before we begin, I want to offer a heartfelt thanks to our sponsor, Cosmic Connections. Their support for this podcast and this community is wonderful. You can receive 10% off your online purchase at yourcosmicconnections.com with the code Bertena Podcast 10. Yourcosmicconnections.com, Bertena, Bertena, Podcast 10. It's a beautiful way to support both your spiritual practice and the sanctuary, as well as a small business that I love so much. Now, wherever you are, maybe you're walking or resting or driving or just simply breathing, I invite you to gently step into the sanctuary with me. Let your shoulders soften, let your breath deepen, and there's nothing that you need to become or to be fixed. You've arrived at a sacred space. So let's begin. Welcome back, everyone, to Spiritual Sanctuary, Wisdom for the Divine Feminine. I'm Bertena, and today's episode is going to be a little bit different. Today, I want to share a story. It's not a polished story. It's not a 5 easy steps to success story, but it's my real story. It's the story of a dream that started and then stopped and then restarted and paused again and then slowly evolved over more than a decade. Because the truth is, building a spiritual life and building a spiritual business rarely happens in a straight line. It happens in circles, it happens in seasons, and in moments where we step forward with faith and moments where we step back out of fear. I want to share the story today because tomorrow I'm teaching an in-person sacred business creation workshop at Cosmic Connections. And I've spent all day writing, working, and just preparing all the lessons. And it got me to thinking about how far I've come. And I realized something. Before we talk about how to build a spiritual business, we have to talk about why it can feel so difficult to believe in our gifts in the first place. So today, I'm going to share my journey, because if you've ever felt a quiet voice inside you saying, maybe I'm meant to do something more meaningful, then this episode is just for you. So, let's start. The spiritual business journey really started out in 2011. My son went off to college in 2010. I left Lexington, Kentucky and moved to Bowling Green, Kentucky with my new boyfriend, Sam. And I took a leap of faith. I was assistant dean and career center director and all the things at a college in Lexington. And I came down here because I knew I wanted something different, but I just didn't know what. In 2010, I kept looking for a job, and I began Reiki classes at that time. And I went to a metaphysical fair, and Sam was like, hey, you can do this too. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And I just kind of laughed about it. But I couldn't find a job. So in 2011, with his support and all of his love, we opened up a meditation and Reiki center here in Bowling Green called Serendipity. And spirituality was becoming more visible at that time, but it still wasn't as mainstream as it is, 15 years now. There weren't online teachers, there weren't spiritual influencers on social media. If you wanted to learn Reiki, meditations, anything, you usually had to go somewhere in person. Now, I did take online classes with Doreen Virtue and a few other people like that, but it wasn't as prolific as it is today. So I opened up my meditation center, and at first it felt magical. A few people would come in, and I'm not from here, so it was definitely by word of mouth. They came in curious. Some people came in because they were stressed, and some people came in just because they were searching for healing. We'd sit together, we'd meditate, we'd talk about energy, explore spiritual practices, and I loved it. I loved watching people open up a deeper part of themselves, but I'm going to be honest. This chapter did not end well. Running a physical spiritual center comes with real challenges. Financial pressure, scheduling, personalities that came in. I was a female in a basement office by myself. There was lots of expectations on me as well as others. And eventually that chapter closed. It was around the time that I accepted a position at the local community college as program coordinator and assistant professor of sociology, criminology, and social work. So suddenly my life shifted. My days were filled with meetings and paperwork and teaching and administrative stuff, but the spiritual path didn't disappear. It just kind of moved in the background. Now, while I was working at the college, I continued exploring spiritual work in another way. I started attending metaphysical fairs across Kentucky, Ohio, and Tennessee. And if you've never been to one of these fairs, they're fascinating. You see tarot readers, mediums, Reiki practitioners, astrologers, crystal healers, intuitive artists, and it's like stepping into another world. I sat at my table and I met people from every walk of life. Some were curious, some were skeptical, some were telling me I was going to hell, and some were deeply searching for healing, and I learned something important during these years. Spiritual work wasn't about having all the answers. It's about holding space while someone finds their own answers. And sometimes you sit at a fair all day long and only see a few people, and other times I had a line. I would be at the Galactic Expo in Nashville when Cosmic Connections owned it, and it was my first time where I had a line. I could barely get the teacups filled up for tea leaf reading. And it was the most exciting and tiresome time. I came home and I would sleep on the drive back to Bowling Green. I would sleep on the way back to Nashville the next day. Sam would drive me down. He'd set me up. He was my runner. He's my everything. And this definitely couldn't be possible without him. But with each interaction, it reminds you about how deeply people crave meaning and healing and connection. And all I knew that I was doing was telling people a few symbols, giving them a smile, kind of helping them guide their own way, because scrying is all about having some symbols to help you find yourself. It was funny though, because for many years my life existed between two worlds. One was academia, degrees and teaching, faculty meetings, administrative crap. And the other was spirituality, meditation, energy work, intuition. And for the long time, I thought that these two worlds had to stay separate. I was even kind of told, don't tell anybody what you do. And eventually I realized something. They were never separate. My sociology background actually shaped the way for me to understand spirituality. I see spirituality as a part of human experience, part of their identity, part of their culture, and part of the way that people search for meaning. My focus in sociology research was cultural sociology, religion and society, and cults. And my criminology background was deviant subcultures, which went into many of the things that people see as spirituality as deviant. My history master's was focused on two things, the Victorian era history in England, which was a time that spiritualist and divination became really popular here, or there and in the United States. And the other aspect was ancient history, the time of Sumeria, Babylon, the goddesses, Egypt, Greece, all of that. And that blend of academic background and spiritual perspectives became who I am. I began taking yoga classes, and that was a whole challenge in of itself, being told I'm too big, I'm too sick, I'm too whatever. I'm just too much. So I went to apply for yoga teacher training, and I was turned down. by a school because I didn't fit their criteria. And I'm glad I did. That was a blessing. And I ended up looking at the place that I really wanted to go to, but it was all the way in Nashville. And I was like, Nashville's a drive. And so I found a teacher, Mary. Hi, Mary. I love you. She was with White Crow Yoga. She is now retired temporarily. I'm hoping she's going to come back. But I went down there to meet her, and she asked me what I wanted out of my yoga experience. And I said, I want true spirituality, because the other place wouldn't even put a Buddha in the yoga studio. They really pushed more Christian-based yoga, which is fine for them, but that wasn't what I was looking for. And I said, but I want to start right now, but I'm teaching, but over the summer, I'm off of work. And so she says, that's perfect. I'm doing a class. And so I can't tell you how many weeks, I would get up, drive down to Nashville, do a class for 10 or 12 hours, sit on the concrete, be in pain, cry, come back, sit in the bathtub, cry, just in so much pain. And I couldn't even do what most of the 19-year-old girls next to me did, because, I was 47, 48. Yeah, I was not young. But I knew that I wanted to teach to where I could make people like me feel comfortable, someone older, someone bigger, someone with chronic illness. And she made the class fit for me. I went through my 200-hour yoga teacher training, and then I went through the 300-hour of wellness yoga, which was all focused on how to see yoga as a spiritual path. That sometimes you may just be sitting there and meditating or chanting, and sometimes you may be moving, but you move based upon your body. Absolutely love Mary. I love that experience. I really say that Reiki opened the door, but yoga gave me the courage and the confidence and the knowing of me. And everyone's like, what does yoga have to do with spirituality? Well, besides all of the woo-woo stuff with chakras and breathing, pranayama, all of that, it is just a spiritual connection to yourself, your higher power. It is a connection to going inside and away from this world. And I used to be the person who wanted to be out, be seen. I was out all the time. And after yoga, with my disease that I have, with my anxiety attacks, with all the other things that went on, it was the only place that I found peace. Well, besides Sam, but it's where I found peace. And I don't know, I just loved it. In 2019, I started teaching yoga out of my home, and it was small. I had like people lined up in my front room and then in the kitchen and in the little walkway. And it was about 10 people, and I could not do all the asanas. It was not available to me. That is what we say. Not I can't. It is not available. But I knew I wanted to keep on going. And that there was something about it, even though there was, 10 people. It was $5 a class. We would breathe, we'd move, we'd meditate, we'd talk. It was community. And I remember thinking at that time that this is the beginning of something. Again, I love all the people that came to my house, and they're all over the place. They're in Lexington now. Some people I don't have contact with anymore that I miss, and some people are my closest friends that came. But then something happened. COVID happened, and the world closed. Suddenly, everything stopped. Yoga studios closed. We had spiritual centers closing. Events disappeared. At that same time, I had just started doing some readings at Cosmic Connection in Nashville. I bet you I hadn't been there maybe 2 times. And then suddenly the world just shut down. Classes stopped, events stopped, and I lost my assistant professor job. I fought that whole year because I hated it. I hated the dean, I hated the provost, and I know that's so bad to say, but at the time that's what I was feeling. But now I know why. It wasn't that I hated them. It's just that our energies did not match. My energy did not match there. I was fighting what I thought was a wonderful job, which paid me more than I've ever made in my entire life. A really good job at the community college. And I was miserable. And I would have never left that job. I would have been there forever. But I made someone mad, which is what I do sometimes. And it was a terrifying moment when they said, "We're not renewing your contract." And I'm on Zoom. And before I could ask any questions, they're like, "No," and hung up the Zoom. That was a terrifying moment. I was in shock. I think that's the first time I've ever felt shock, because losing a job, financially, I was worried about it, but it really, my identity. I was teacher of the year, mentor of the year. I was stable. It was the first time in my life that I had a job where I absolutely loved going to until that year. And now it's like, what am I supposed to do? And it was about a year before I found another position. But what I did was Cosmic Connections helped me. And I don't even know if Catherine knows how much she did help me during this time. She gave me purpose. I went to a dark place for a while. Yeah, it was pretty bad. And I met some wonderful new people, Cindy and Rachel and Christina and Debbie and so many more people on Zoom. I'm not even sure how they came about, how each one of them got connected to me, but it was through Cosmic, it was through Zoom, and I started doing classes. Started teaching a little bit, doing some meditation, doing some yoga. I went through personal training because, I wanted to be strong, and at the time I was strong. I loved it. And I would do workout things in the morning with everyone, and we just pop on and we just had a community. And I loved it, but I don't think I made $3,000 that entire year. It took me a year, and then it was 2021. Yeah, January 2021. I started working at WKU. And I want to be honest, I love teaching, I love my students, but this job has never felt like home to me. Not the environment, not the department. I realized something. I get paid less there than I did at my first job out of college in 1995. And that's embarrassing for a university to pay staff, faculty, $12, $14, $15 an hour. But this experience has really forced me to ask a different question. If this isn't my forever place, then what is? And it's not going to be my forever place. There was a moment when everything shifted. I had gotten out of spirituality when I started there. I couldn't focus. I swear, I feel like that job. I've never been so sick at a job. I would wake up tired. I would go. I would come home and I would collapse. I was exhausted. It was 8 to 4:30, 8 to 5. I was used to working less hours, more hours, but less out. Um, it's like all my diseases have increased. I've actually gotten some other things since then. I even developed some minor forms of skin cancer, a few other things like that. I mean, I'm still there, and I wake up dreading going to work. Now, when I get there, I love my students. They are the best. I have some that are the most funniest, rowdiest kids. There's one there that reminds me of me in college, and Lord help her. Ooh, there are spiritual students. There are students that just need like a mom. And this last year, couple years, my son has been struggling, my mother is struggling, my family. And so I've been going home trying to do it at least once a month, working full time at my job, working part time teaching at my job, and then working 20 plus hours through my business. And I kept asking, what do I want to do? What makes me happy? What pulls me in? And it is the spirituality. Writing, teaching spiritual classes, podcasting. I never thought I would love podcasting. It took me since 2020, since COVID happened, for me to get this comfortable. And I talk all the time. I swear I think I started talking when my mom had me. And I don't think I've ever shut up, but I swear you put this microphone in front of me in 2020 all the way up to last year, boom, my mouth shut. I had no idea what to say. I didn't think anybody would want to know anything or even cared what I had to say. But that was wrong, because working with clients and talking to people, and even when I tried to ignore it, this just kept calling me back. And finally I understood something. Sometimes your calling doesn't show up as a loud voice. Sometimes it just shows up as something that you keep coming back to no matter how many times you try to get away. So I started really focusing on building my business slowly about 3 years ago. My health going down. And I started it back as a hobby, then as a side hustle. I continued writing more books, recording these podcasts, teaching classes, working with clients, and it began to grow. It didn't take overnight. It's not magically. It's steady, and it's not like my one job where it was the most money I ever had, and it's really not much more than what I make at the university, but it's peaceful. And it just happened through trust, through community, and just showing up again and again. Now, I have imposter syndrome. And almost every spiritual practitioner experiences imposter syndrome. That's the voice that says, who do you think you are? Why would anybody listen to you? What about if you're wrong? But the truth is, spiritual people struggle with this more than anyone because we care deeply about integrity. We want to do this work ethically, and sometimes humility turns into self-doubt, and then self-doubt keeps people from sharing their gifts. Another thing that spiritual practitioners face is money wounds. Many of us grew up hearing that spiritual work should be free, money is greedy, you shouldn't charge for helping people. Energy exchange matters, though. And when someone invests in healing, learning, or growth, they're honoring the value of that work. And that's been hard. I still feel like sometimes I undersell myself, and sometimes I feel like I oversell myself. I feel guilt at times. And I also, as a yogi, I do seva. Sometimes that's service. Sometimes that's free things. And that's okay, because I'm trying to honor and heal from the money wounds. But now there's another part to this story. I'm in my 50s. And culturally, we're often told that this stage in this life is about slowing down. But spirituality is actually the crone stage. And I'm a crone. Yay, I'm excited. The crone represents wisdom and clarity and leadership. And the crone stops asking permission. Having this attitude of, I don't have to do anything that I do not feel comfortable doing, has helped me find my voice. It's helped me find who I am. I got married in December of 2024. Oh, yep, 2024. Lord Sam, I'm sorry. We've been married for a year and 3 months. We got married December 31st, 2024. And I never thought that that would happen. WKU did do one thing. It helped me pay off my student loans. It helped me realize what I didn't want to do anymore. And it's helped me find my crown stage, because wisdom isn't valued in the world anymore. It's not even valued in the universities like it was. So I'm going to speak my wisdom, speak my truth, share my wisdom in a place that feels comfortable with me. I'm at Cosmic Connections. I'm at the Healing Society in Nashville. I'm on Zoom. I'm here. I'm online. But I'm still scared. I'm scared that one day I'll be too old to do this, or that I won't make enough money, that someone may not want me, may not like me. And that's okay, because this is the thing I wish someone had told me years ago. We are not everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay. People who want to work with you will come to you. Sometimes when people get upset and walk away, that just means that their energy isn't matched with yours and they have a different journey. I wish someone had told me that spiritual businesses grow slowly, that doubt is normal, and that I don't have to have everything figured out. Lord, I don't even have taxes. I love my tax lady. I can't do this without a group of people. We have Dana at the store that does all of our events. We have Clarissa and Sarah, who's always helping. They're always at the store helping. Catherine, who supports us. The other readers and energy workers there, always supporting. Sam, always with me. And my friends at WKU who know that this is not where I'm going to stay at forever. They are always there. I wish someone had told me that the path will twist and turn in ways that you can't predict. That dark time, I've had several dark times now, and it's just, something has always pulled me out of it. But the calling is real, and it's going to keep returning, so I'm embracing it. When I am out, I have people all the time going, well, I wish I was intuitive or I could do what you do. You can. All we are doing is connecting our energy to the universe, trusting ourselves, listening to what has been with us, our primal nature since the beginning of time. Now, we all have different gifts. Some people are better with spiritual art. Some people are better with certain coaching, and that's okay. People are here with their gifts to help the people they're supposed to be with. I started on this priestess path as wanting to learn more about Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary, and I absolutely love it. I really do. But it's taken me down a road where I never thought that I would go. I have met wonderful people, Jennifer at Gaia Sisterhood, and all the lovely ladies who put up with me at my retreat in October when I went out in nature. And one of my diseases is I'm allergic to nature and sun and heat, but I pushed it and I did it. It's the first time in my life that I've actually done something on my own that people tell me I can't do. They checked on me when I was sick. They didn't make fun of me. They didn't make me feel old or fat or anything. I felt at peace. And watching Jennifer be that priestess with us just helped me know what it is that I truly do want to do. I want to lead other women through their path, no matter what it is. Whether they want to have their own spiritual business, whether they want to work on their spiritual gifts. And that's why I created the Priestess Academy, to help people find all of the directions that they want, the directions that they need. And then that's why I've created the Sacred Business Creation Workshop. Not teaching people how to get rich, but I'm trying to help spiritual people understand that their gifts matter, their voice matters, that their knowledge matters, and that if they feel called to share it, there is a way to do that. And even if you don't want a business, here's something important. This conversation still matters because deepening your spirituality deepens your life, your intuition, your sense of purpose. Dreams don't expire. Callings don't disappear. Sometimes they simply wait until we're ready. I want to thank you for spending time with me in the sanctuary today. If you're interested in the Zoom class on March the 15th, please visit our sponsor, Cosmic Connections, at yourcosmicconnections.com and click on classes. It's right there on the 15th on the calendar. If you want the online self-paced course, or you would like a one-on-one with me, because I love coaching, I love teaching, you can go to Bertena, Bertena.org, and click on classes, and it should be available for automatic download, or you can book with me and I'll do a one-on-one. But I want you to remember something. My journey is just beginning. I have no idea where I'll be next. And it makes me nervous. And I get stressed, but not stressed like in a corporate job or in academia. I get excited. I get to meet wonderful women. I grew up in the time where women were pitted against each other in the 80s. Like, it was like corporate America, and you're to go to the top, and every female is your enemy because there's only one space. And I'm so glad we're coming out of that. The spiritual realm, the spiritual circles of women are growing, and we are kinder to each other. I see the college girls being nice, being genuinely nice. I see them being a girl's girl, and I love it. I love it. You know, I've always searched for those friendships. I've always searched for the belonging between my sorority, between my friends at work. But this is the first time that I feel like I've really made strong connections. My friend Azure D, she really is here to support me, even though we walk different paths. But I know at any time I can call her. I have so many friends that I've never had before that really and truly are wonderful. I have women who want to walk the path with me, Cindy and Molly and Carol and Amy, and I can't even name them all. But this is what the next phase of my life is going to be. So I hope you stick around. I hope you reach out with questions. I hope to see you in person on Zoom or somewhere else. Even if this isn't your thing, say hello, make a comment below. Just let me know that you listened and share with me your dreams. But until next time, trust your intuition, honor your path, and remember, your soul came here with a purpose. Love you. Bye. As we begin to close our time together, I want to thank you for spending this sacred moment with me here at the Spiritual Sanctuary. If today's episode resonated with you, I invite you to leave a comment or share this episode with someone who may need a little sanctuary of their own. As a thank you, everyone who comments or shares is entered into a drawing from our sponsor, Cosmic Connections, and it's a beautiful way to keep the magic flowing beyond time and space. And if you're longing for deeper connection, more guidance, and updates on both our online and impersonal spiritual sanctuary gatherings, I invite you to stay in touch with me by signing up with my newsletter at Bertena.org. That's BERTENA.org, where I share upcoming events, rituals, reflections, and offerings created just for this community. Until we meet again, please be gentle with yourself, trust your inner knowing, and remember, this sanctuary lives within you. Thank you for being here.